You're live.
You are live. We are live. And here we are.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing? You doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody out there? Anybody on tonight? Today? This afternoon? This morning? This evening? Whatever it is.
I see some people are like going home with the cats.
They going home?
Mm.
Where are they going?
Just like they're just gonna like brush their teeth maybe and then go toilet. You have to make sure. And
Brush
then,
their teeth.
and then go to
Go in the bathroom.
and just make sure you have to pee.
Take a pee, take a poop. Take a dump. Leave a dump. You know, why do they say, I'm going to take a dump? I mean, you don't actually take a dump, you leave one. So
Huh?
why don't we say, I'm going to leave a dump? I'm going to leave a poop because you don't take the poop. Imagine if you actually went to your toilet and took the poop. Yeah, you don't take it out, you leave it in there. So
Yeah, and flushed.
flush it away, right?
But it's like when I'm going to poop, then I don't flush. I don't flush first. First, I wash my hands, and then I turn off the sink, and then I just open the door so I don't get like scared if I don't like turn on the hall lights. Because I mostly do that, and then it's just I close the toilet and then flush and then run to the towel, dry my hands, and then just turn off the lights and then run like back into the kitchen or my room.
That's how he does it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, right?
It's just like I want to be like scared.
Yeah. That's a good plan. To not let yourself get scared.
It's like when you poop, you don't like pick out like some of the toilet water pee and then like put it in the garbage and with no gloves, and also pick out some poop with gloves and then put it in the garbage. Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do.
No, you don't.
Because then you'd get your hands all dirty.
Yeah, that would be gross.
And smelly.
Yeah, that would be gross.
And if you might eat your nails first before going, like picking your, it's like first you like eat your nails before you go to the bathroom and pick out the poop, and you might have butt worms on your hands.
Yeah.
Like you'd see like white things, and first you pick it out when you pick the poo out. It's like, ugh. That's just gross. You guys would never do that. Because if you would like squish them, they would die, and maybe their butt worm eggs would get on your hands, and you want, and you shouldn't like should like lick where they were.
Yuck.
Yes, because then you get butt worms.
You get sick. Yeah, that's why you just. And that's why you do everything clean, right? You're a clean freak, aren't you? You're a super clean boy. He's a very clean boy. Mommy and Daddy trained him well. And he watches good YouTube videos and stuff to learn how to do things on his own, don't you? Yeah. He's an avid learner. This little kid. I can't see you. Gotta get up close. No, I'll take a back seat here. Okay. So if you guys have any questions for Alex, he's here to answer them. People can ask you questions right there. That's right. This is Alexander Michael Macintosh right here. And you know who I am. It's Q&A with this young man who I believe will be the 52nd President of the United States in 2052 for a full 8 years consecutive. So I ask now, Alex, when you become president, what do you want to see happen?
Hmm.
What policies would you enact?
Hmm.
You don't know. What would you what good work would you do for people?
What type?
What is there to do? What do you think needs to be done? Good things do you think need to change or be done or
What
better or
type of?
or bad stuff that we need to stop doing?
I don't know.
Do you think we should be better neighbors to people in other countries and stuff? Is that a good idea?
Think.
You think? Yeah. Do you think that we should try to, you know, build friendships with other countries and partnerships, more stability and peace in the world? Do you think that might be a good idea? What do you think? Yeah? You gonna give that a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Clearly, Daddy's going to be helping a lot during the Alexander Macintosh administration. I expect to still be around in 2052. I'll be obviously a bit older and probably a lot wiser, I assume, although maybe not. So yeah, this is my buddy. He has a really good sense of fun, and he makes people laugh, and he's very observant. Hey, Alex, do you think your dad is a good person? Do you think I'm a good person? Okay, he thinks I'm a good person. That doesn't mean I'm a nice person, though. Am I a nice person? Is there a difference? I'm not nice all the time. No.
It's like sometimes you're cranky.
Sometimes I'm cranky and grumpy. And sometimes I get irritated with stuff, with dumb stuff, right? That needs to stop and be fixed and changed.
I see this.
Yeah.
This is how nice you are.
But I'm good, but I'm nice that way. So I'm like 100% good, but like 50% nice. Well, there you go. There's your answer to that question. And out of the mouth of babes comes the truth, right? He's only 6, so he cannot tell a lie.
Not even a lie.
Mm-hmm. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Have you guys seen that? Can you read that?
I don't think they even saw it.
1 Bitcoin equals
BTC.
$10,000.
Oh my gosh, that's
$10,520
that's a lot.
for 1 Bitcoin. Hey, Alex, is Daddy smart? Am I smart?
Yes.
You think I'm smart?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have answers to your questions usually? Do I help you learn things? Mm. I think I try to help him learn if he's stuck on something. He's really very good at teaching himself though and figuring things out. He's a self-taught man. Am I smart? Do you think I'm smart?
Mm-hmm.
You think I'm smart? He thinks I'm smart. I don't think he's smart though. I think. You got a hand growing out of your head. Let me try that. Daddy is wicked smart. But not really. I mean, when you think about it, even a person with a like 240 or 270 IQ, such as myself, possibly, probably, um, isn't really that much smarter than an ant in the grand scheme of things, because what knowledge exists in the universe is like this much. We'll take this as being all of the attainable knowledge in the universe, and this is like a 270 IQ, and this is an ant's IQ. So it's the more you learn, the more you realize how little you actually know. Isn't that true? But yes, I do constantly try to improve my intelligence. It is a factor in my day-to-day existence. I am constantly trying to uh, improve my knowledge and level of intelligence and wisdom. It's not something I make a huge deal out of. It's not something I'm like overly proud of or anything like that. It's just something that I'm aware of, and I'm aware of the need to exercise the mind and uh, constantly try to feed my intelligence by taking in learning and knowledge and exercising that muscle, which is really all it is. It's just the brain is partially a muscle, so you got to work it for it to work right. It's like anything. If you're lifting weights, if you don't lift weights, then you don't build muscle. If you don't use your brain, then you don't gain intelligence. So I'm constantly trying to use my brain to figure out solutions and solve problems and understand things. And I think I think that's what guys like Thomas Jefferson were like, and constantly trying to do. And That's why they probably were also possessors of high intelligence quotient, relatively speaking. If you can, they could even, I don't even know if they had a way to measure that back then, but I don't think we have much of a way to measure it right now, even. So,
Hey, look what someone said. Hello, Alex.
yeah. Say hi.
Thanks. Thanks for saying hello to me. Shane, God, shows death.
Please excuse me. I have a little bit of heartburn.
Someone said, lol, oh boy.
Lol, oh boy.
Someone said what does that say?
Hey,
He.
Hey, Alex, do you think your dad is a good person? LMAO, everyone does. Laughing. LMAO means laughing my ass off. Okay. Haha, hey, Alex, is daddy smart? Why doubt yourself when you have so much potential, though? Yeah, everybody has self-doubt.
Someone said, hey, just woke up.
Hey, just woke up. Welcome to the waking world.
Hey, Alex, go tell your dad. Boo!
You scared me. You scared me, man.
Lol.
Lol. So, what do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin equals that.
It's 10th. Do you guys have any interest in Bitcoin? Do you think it's gonna help help people in the future? Do you think it might be a good way to invest your money, for instance? I don't generally, as someone who has sort of, done extensive trading on the stock exchange in both New York and London. I think Bitcoin is going to really solve a lot of economic problems before too long. For people who have it now and have significant amounts of it, even like, 0.1 or 0.5, 1 Bitcoin, I think is going to really help before too long with anybody who has that. So I'm not one to like recommend stocks or commodities or anything like that, but I think judging from the projections and the mathematical projections for the future price of Bitcoin, I think anybody who gets them now is and holds on to it for like a year and a half from now is going to be doing quite well. So if you guys can afford to buy some, even just like $500 worth, $1,000 worth, and hold on to it for a year, it will, I think, really help you if you're struggling financially. And that's not a very long time, you guys. So it's a very short time to hold on to something.
Someone said hi.
Hi. Hi, Shadow Starker.
Someone said, yeah, but
Yeah,
yours is different for some reason.
mine is different. That's what my wife says.
Oh my god. Someone
Um,
said that.
bad joke.
I, I think someone said, good job, your hard work.
What I think about myself is irrelevant to what I'm here for, and I think I'm fairly objective when I look at myself anyway. So other people can't necessarily. And I'm not trying to make anything about myself anyway because I'm not about that. But like other people don't really know me as well as they think they do, and uh, only I know myself as well as uh, nobody knows me. Nobody knows you better than yourself, really. If you really kind of are introspective enough. Yeah. Well, maybe.
Sh- sh-
You know
shadow.
certain things about me. I don't. You don't know everything about me for sure. Um, I'm very private.
Shadow Striker said, you will say, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
All right. Go America.
All right.
All right.
That's how much L IGHT. Okay.
All right.
Be crazy, guys. So someone said, just kidding.
Lol JK. You know what that means?
What?
LOL JK.
Someone said, just.
So
Well, that can mean
yeah,
a lot of things. Someone said,
I think if you guys are interested in Bitcoin and you get something that makes you guys rich,
ooh,
don't
we got
forget
3 left.
where you heard about it because I am still campaigning for 2024 and my campaign could use some support. So remember, if the guy campaigning in 2024 is the guy who gave you the advice about making yourself rich with buying just a small amount of Bitcoin, that same guy could really use the financial support in getting on the ballot and further improving things. Hopefully, definitely. Look at this kid dance. You want to do that? Here, let's show everybody. I think you have a better chance of doing well financially from buying some Bitcoin than playing the lottery. What am I planning? I think I've talked about that extensively in my previous 200 videos now, but I plan on classifying certain advanced technologies like time travel, which I'm fairly certain that government has possession of, and I'm also uh, interested in declassifying all of the data on extraterrestrial life, and indeed, if we're able to make make it public knowledge the existence of extraterrestrial life,
5 people.
and I want to completely abolish uh, organizations that are in our country and also around the world by using the power of the United Nations that are professing to be religious organizations but are in no way religious by the actual definition of the word, but are using the term religion and the premise of freedom of religion to engage in nefarious activities like child trafficking and human sacrifice and all manner of evil. Um, so, yeah, those are my three key points, and that's going to take a lot of work, you guys. I hope you understand that it's not something that any administration can just wave a magic wand and make happen. It's a monumental task, uh, especially that last part. And I'm saying that I can get it done in 4 years, just under 4 years, and have enough time left in my administration to do the two other things and hopefully try to do some other positive things as well. But I just don't know that there will be a lot of time in 4 years. But it can really, I think, if we get those three things started or done, it will really clear the way for other future administrations to just get amazing things done in a relatively short period of time. How am I going to do that? That's for me to know, for you to find out. Okay. I mean, you're talking about a situation that is tantamount to it's a war, it's military action, and I can't divulge the specifics of that plan because I don't want to sabotage that plan. So, I mean, I hope you understand that. But I'm giving them fair warning at this point to, you know, cut the crap or suffer the consequences. And that's anybody deserves that, I guess. They're getting a warning. What do you mean? I'm thinking very clearly.
I believe. I believe. I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I don't know why you think there's some like dark secrets in my past, Michelle, or anything, and it's really not that interesting. This has nothing to do with me. This has to do with everybody, all of us. We've all put up with too much already, and we've all suffered. So it's not about me. I'm not doing it for myself. It's for everybody. There's not a single person on this planet that hasn't been abused in some way, and people take advantage and they abuse their freedoms and they neglect their responsibilities, and we're just going to take that away from those people. It's very simple. Take away their ability to do that. That's all. So that's probably the biggest part of my plan, of my platform, and there are other great people out there who I think will make amazing presidents in the future. Quite a few of them, like this kid right here. Um, I just want to clear the path for those people and make sure that they don't have the kind of obstacles in their way that they would have otherwise if this were not done first. So,
Light and
any future events, he tells me. I don't know. See, I don't have access to that information. Um, yeah, I don't have access to that information. I don't think I ever did. Like, I don't recall any in my, like, I've done extensive regression therapy at this point to try to remember what I learned from being in the future and looking back at the historic record of our, like, the record of what is to happen yet for us at this point in time. I didn't I didn't see anything about from now until, at least not in my life, or anyone close to me, up until 2024. I do know that probably Donald Trump is going to clean out extensively the deep state and get rid of a lot of the corruption in our government and the cronyism and just bad goings on that have been happening for decades now. So you guys, we really need to get put aside our personal beliefs about our current president and him as a person, whatever those may be, and get behind him and support what he's doing because he's really trying to help us, whether you like him or not. He cares about the country. He cares about us, and he's clearing the way so that someone like me can become president in the future. And if we don't support him, I may never get to be president. You know, and then consequently, if we don't support what I'm trying to do, other people in the future who want to do positive things for our country and for our people won't get a chance. It's a, it's a, it's like dominoes, you know. You got to set one up before you knock the other one down, and everything's like it's a process. And all the dominoes are there. I know who they are. I know who the people are, and I mean I have confidence and I have faith in God. Really, that's what drives me, and that God really wants to see a good end result. So He's going to make it happen somehow. Right? Do you know what's going on in Mexico with the cartels? I don't live in Mexico, so I don't know. I don't know. I hear things. I hear information about what's coming out of Mexico, but um, I know people who used to live in Mexico a long time ago. I don't know anybody who currently lives in Mexico. Um, so I don't know what's going on in Mexico right now, but I do know that Mexico has a history of uh, violent crime, very serious violent crime, and that is one of the reasons for uh, the proposed border wall. There are other reasons for that too, though, which have to do with the intellectual brilliance of our current president and in finding out who the people are who are supportive of America having secure borders and thus probably good people, and those who aren't supportive of it are likely benefiting from the lack of security at the border in some criminal way. So those he's just kind of rooting out who's for or against a better America that way, which is just really brilliant when you think about it. He really is like a 4D chess player, put it as some people have put it. So um, whether or not the wall gets finished or whatever, it's second to the point, which is who doesn't want our country to have secure borders? Who doesn't want our people to be safe? And why? Who doesn't want that? Hello, Gang of Four. Yeah, there's a lot of corruption in Mexico as well. Like, I mean, but I think that's ultimately a side point to the whole reason for the outcry for the wall, which is to find out who in our government doesn't want it. And those people gotta go. Because if they don't want us to be safe and secure in our own homes, then they're not working for us. They're working for some other agenda, and they need to be gotten out of the government. It's that simple. And at this point, I think we know. So I can talk about that. I think I know who those we know who those people are. You know, um, so they've made their position known, and it really is the type of situation where if you're not for it, you're against it. If you're not for if you're not for it, you're not for us. If you're against it, then you're against us. And you know, you're fired, basically. So that's what's going to happen before Trump leaves office in 2024. If they don't impeach him before then, but it's still not going to stop anything. Nothing's going to stop the Trump train. He is barreling through Washington D.C. right now, like just an unstoppable locomotive force. And he's got so much support, but he could really use more support. So don't forget that, you guys, because he is helping us. He is working for us. I don't think there's going to be a war with relation to Mexico or anything. I think there might be eventually some cooperation between the Mexican police, the Mexican military, and the United States military, and perhaps mutual security interests relating to the the gangs and the cartels. But that's been ongoing anyway. But I think a collaborative effort will really solve that problem ultimately. Mhm. And I think the more we try to help the Mexican people understand that America doesn't want to fight with Mexico, we don't want to hurt the Mexican people. We just want stability in the southwest region of the United States and more security. We don't have an issue with Mexico or the Mexican people. It's the issues are much bigger than that. This is a global issue, really, because Mexico doesn't have a way of effectively policing its own country and defending its own country from people coming from all over the place that are then additionally trying to get into the United States and cause problems in the United States. So we have mutual problems that we can work together on. I think that's really what's going to solve the problem. Um, we love Mexico. We love the Mexican people. You know, many of us are dual citizens of the United States and Mexico. So it's not like there's this whole issue of like racism and all that. It's propaganda trying to demonize yet again. And you know, that's what they do. They try to divide rather than unite and solve problems. So let's not let them trick us or divide us or demonize anybody, because you know it's not what it's about. Mm-hmm. A positive future. Well, your future is what you make it when you really think about it, and you have to visualize that future and work towards it. Reach out it and bring it to you. That's it. That's the only way things are gonna ultimately be better for you in the future. You have choices to make. Everybody has choices. Um, but you guys, you know, don't play into the whole us versus them mentality when it comes to Mexico and the United States. It's not that big. It's a much bigger picture at work. It's a global issue that is playing itself out uh, at our southern border and Mexico's northern border. It's a huge global issue. It's not anything to do with divisiveness pertaining to Mexicans or Americans. It has nothing to do with that, really. That's almost just a symptom. In fact, it is a symptom. It's a symptom of the a bigger picture problem. The general populace. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have to do a lot of reinventing of things in the 21st century, and it's still early. You know, it's like 2019. The 2020s are starting soon. I think the 2020s are going to be probably better than the first couple of decades of this century that have been contextually, I think, abysmal compared to previous decades. Like the 1990s were great for a lot of people. The 80s were fantastic. Um, I see. You know, do I see the Prince from the South is hostile invaders? Um, I'm not going to play into that because I don't think that that's the real issue. I think the issue is a much bigger picture that not very many people can probably see or understand because it has to do with geopolitical matters and matters of a national or even continental nature. You're talking about much bigger picture things at work that I think you really got to you really got to study global uh, geopolitical matters to truly understand what's happening at our southern border. I believe that the biggest problem is in Washington, Frank, Washington D.C. I think the invaders are in Washington D.C. That's our biggest problem, and the fact that a lot of those people don't want us to have national security. A lot of the people in Washington don't want us to be safe in our beds at night. Um, Shows that we have a much bigger problem than people coming in through the southern border. Of course, that's a bad thing that dangerous people are coming in through the southern border. But I think what's even more dangerous, yeah, exactly, is the friggin' people who don't care and don't want us to have safety and security in our beds at night in Texas and New Mexico and Arizona and Southern California and anywhere else people can get in through who are going to engage in criminal behavior, dangerous, violent criminal behavior. So that's the real problem, you guys. And we have no choice but to do something about it at this point. And that's what I believe Trump's legacy will be. His biggest, the thing that he'll be most remembered for is the clearing out of that sort of corruption in Washington, D.C., that facilitates that. And make no mistake about it, there are people sitting in Congress right now who are profiting, likely, from criminal behavior uh, being facilitated by the lack of security on our southern border. People in Congress, people in the FBI, people in the CIA, people in any, they could be anywhere. To I believe every aspect of the United States government has been compromised in some way, shape, or form, and that's what I'm talking about. Is Trump is gonna get rid of those compromised elements and make sure that more serious people, people with more integrity, people who actually care, are going to have those jobs instead. And there are a lot of people who are, fortunately, good people, great people, even, who would be perfect for those jobs, which will enable things to get done more quickly and positive things to happen more quickly. Um, I believe I'm in that category. And right now, there's no way I could get anywhere near Washington, D.C. in the condition that it's in with the level of corruption that's been in there for most of my life. But somehow, I believe I'm going to end up being the president. One thing that I would change, you mean right now, or in the future, or right now, I would, if I were in Trump's position, I would be doing what he's doing, which is cleaning out the corruption and the deep state, so that down the line, someone like myself can become president, which I think is what he's doing. He's not putting the cart before the horse. I'll never set foot in Mass again. Hey, what do you got against Massachusetts, man? You got a problem? What's wrong with Massachusetts? I mean, there's a lot wrong with Massachusetts, but there's a lot wrong with everywhere at this point. But, Massachusetts is a great state. Boston. I I kike Boston. Did you use the word kike? Or is that a typo? I hope that's a typo. Yeah, I think everyone's an individual, and if you take people as individuals, you'll find a lot of good people in Boston, in Massachusetts, in New England in general. Um, yeah, typo. And yeah, there are a lot of, I don't know if they're necessarily bad people, but like kind of idiots sometimes. Boston is like the San Francisco of the East Coast. There's a comedian from Boston area named Bill Burr, who has described Boston as kind of like San Francisco, except more racist. I think that's pretty accurate, having grown up in the Boston area. So yeah, like San Francisco, but with more racism. So that's actually really fun when you think about it. You'd rather live anywhere than Boston. Well, everybody's got their preferences, but I still consider Boston my hometown, and I still think Massachusetts is a great state. I love the state of New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Those are fantastic places. I'm happy to have grown up there, and I just wish that Massachusetts were somehow a bit more. I just wish the voters were a bit smarter in terms of the candidates that have been put in governorship, for instance. Like Mitt Romney was the governor of Massachusetts. And that guy was like the worst governor the state ever had. Uh, and I wish that the federal government would actually pay more attention to the what I believe is election rigging in the state of Massachusetts. Smell you later. Yeah. Um, I believe that Massachusetts is a bit more in actual fact right leaning, then um, federal elections will have you believe. I mean, we've had Republican governors, so why are the electoral points going to left wing candidates? It doesn't really make sense when you think about it. I think there's tampering going on, as I believe you will also find in California eventually. Huge election tampering on a federal level. Mm. Yeah, I don't think it matters what happens with Comey as long as he's gone, as long as he's out of there, and someone who has greater integrity is now occupying his position. That's important, actual integrity. Just get rid of them. Get them out of their jobs. You don't have to drag them through the mud or anything, or put them in jail for 50 years. It's maybe that's necessary for some people, but like, will I get rid of the Federal Reserve banks with Bitcoin? I think that people will do that. I don't think any one person has to do that. I think that we will all do that collectively. And that's the only way, when we collectively recognize something else as currency and society is forced to adapt to it. Because what is what is money other than what people recognize as currency? It's not it, it's arbitrary, right? So we can collectively choose to use something else as currency. We could use seashells, or, maple leaves or whatever. I don't know. You could use anything for money at this point, because the dollar is not really worth anything anyway. It's fiat currency. So um, it's the simple fact that we recognize it as currency as a people collectively that makes it currency. It's all arbitrary. So I think that we're just going to smarten up a bit and start using things like Bitcoin instead, because it's a better form of currency. We just haven't had a better choice to make since the adoption of fiat currency. And I think this past, having paid close attention to what's going on with Bitcoin, because I believe it to be a major historic crossroads. I think that many of the governments around the world have been trying to kill it, and they haven't been able to. It's only come back stronger. So rather than, I think probably as soon as this month, many of them are going to realize that they simply can't kill it. So they're going to have to, for their own sakes, start buying it to fund their own existences. And I think you're going to see governments buying large amounts of Bitcoin, and that will then make it more scarce and will thus drive up the price. So I think you're going to see that starting this month. I think you're going to see that happening in a big way by the end of this year. I think you're going to see gold and silver become virtually worthless to the point where people are just going to throw it out. The only way in my lifetime that I've ever made money with gold or silver is by basically putting against it because it's always more predictably on a downward trend than on an upward trend. It's nearly all. Look at gold charts for the last 10 years, or look at silver charts for the last 10 years. It's always like, so look, and then it goes down, and then it's down. It's always down. It's a downward trend. Um, so if you want to make money with silver or gold, the best thing to do is to uh, invest against it somehow, because that's all that's ever gonna make you any money with it. It's not gonna make you any to buy it and hold on to it and expect to be able to sell it at a profit. It just doesn't happen anymore, pretty much. Yeah, it's good. Gold is good and silver are good for actual like products, but as a store of value, as a thing that actually has monetary value, it's just not relevant anymore. It's almost completely irrelevant at this point in terms of worth. Um, and I think you are going to find people who bought that as an investment with the hope of selling it later and making a profit. You're going to find those people throwing it in the streets before too long. Remember, I said that too, and I don't expect anybody to believe that what I'm saying is true, but in advance. But I think you'll notice that maybe down the line that I said these things and they came to pass, and they will come to pass. So just remember who you heard these things from first, and who doesn't lie to you guys, who tells you the truth. And I think that's the most important thing that you're gonna get out of ever hearing of me in the first place is understanding who your real friends are and who wants you to know the truth. I'm one of those people, and that's why I'm doing this, because I want to help people. I don't want to perpetuate lies or fraud or anything negative or detrimental on anybody. I'm just here to help and try to help humanity and help you guys. So, right? So I try, Shadow. I try to be a good person. I try to help people. Um, that's what I'm. That's what I'm here for. I think pain. Yeah, pain's part of life. We all have pain. So we gotta confront the things that cause us pain sometimes and get rid of them. It's that simple. And a lot of the time, that isn't ourselves. It's not other people. It's things, systems, institutions, ways of doing things that have been carrying on for far too long that we need to completely take apart and not have anymore. That will help because That's how we're made. And, you know, sometimes the hardest things are uh, the most worth doing. So let's do this, you guys. All right. This is me, Michael Macintosh, signing off. Live long and prosper. West Coast, East Coast. Is that the East Coast? Is this? Isn't it? How do they? How do those rap guys make that into East? I don't know. Is it? This is West, right? This is. If you guys know anything about what those hand signs, let me know. Okay. Thanks. Talk to you later.